In the year 2650, Earth had finally achieved what it once only dreamed of: faster-than-light travel. For the first time, humanity reached beyond its solar system and came face-to-face with intelligent alien life. After decades of effort, Earth sent its representatives to the Galactic Council, the powerful governing body of the Milky Way. Humanity was full of hope. They believed their time had come to join the stars and take part in shaping the future of the galaxy. But the answer was swift and cold. The Galactic Council refused Earth's entry. In a giant chamber shaped like a silver dome, Earth's ambassador spoke with pride and humility. "We come in peace. We seek knowledge, trade, and friendship." But the High Chancellor, Arvalith, a tall, pale creature from the Carixi race, did not even stand. He stared down from his elevated platform, his forearms folded across his chest. "Humans," he said with disgust, "are not ready. You war with yourselves. You poison your own world. You speak of peace while building weapons. Your kind is not welcome." The council voted. The rejection was final, and Earth was banned from all interstellar trade, communication, and territory. The council's official statement was blunt: humanity must remain isolated until further notice. Earth's leaders returned home humiliated. The people were heartbroken. The news spread like wildfire. Across every continent, people looked up at the stars and felt something break inside. But humanity didn't give up. Instead, it disappeared. 221 years later, the galaxy believes Earth is still isolated. But hidden in the darkest corner of the Milky Way, behind nebulae and uncharted wormholes, lies the Veil Expanse, a vast and mysterious region the Council dares not enter. It's unstable, filled with black holes, radiation storms, and spatial tears. And in the heart of this chaos, humanity built an empire. Commander James Wren stood at the bridge of the stealth battleship Spectre 1. Tall, broad-shouldered, and calm under pressure, Wren was born in the Expanse. He had never seen Earth with his own eyes, only in holograms, but it lived in his heart like a story passed down through generations. "Status report," he said softly. "Wormhole scan complete. No council activity within the outer rim," his officer replied. Wren nodded. "Proceed to the echelon grid. We inspect the fleet today." Spectre 1 slid through the shadows like a ghost. All Terran ships were built with stealth in mind. Their hulls absorbed radar. Their engines emitted no trace. Their design, elegant and lethal, was unlike anything the Council had seen. Minutes later, they arrived at Echelon Grid 9, a hidden dockyard floating inside a dead star's shell. Here, hundreds of Terran ships were lined up like silent guards. New dreadnoughts were being built, old ones upgraded. Fighters swarmed like bees, training in tight formations. Wren walked through the command deck with pride. "They said we were primitive," he muttered. "Look at us now." Suddenly, an alarm blared. "Commander," a voice shouted. "Unidentified warp signature detected at Colony 17. Wren turned sharply. Display visual. A hologram popped up, showing a small human colony being attacked by unknown ships. Plasma fire lit up the dark sky. Civilians ran for cover. Defense turrets fired back but were overwhelmed. "Are those Council ships?" Wren asked. The officer zoomed in. The attackers had no markings, but their hull shapes matched Council interceptor class. "Likely masked Council tech, sir," the officer confirmed. Wren's jaw tightened. "Reroute Spectre 1. Get me to Colony 17 now." The battleship jumped. They arrived too late. The colony was destroyed, burning, scattered, broken. Wren walked through the ashes in silence. Survivors were few. Children cried as medics helped them. Wren crouched near a dying technician, who had crawled out of a wrecked comm station. "I copied their data," the man whispered, coughing blood. "I knew they'd come." He handed Wren a bloody data chip. Then he died. Back on the ship, Wren loaded the chip into the console. A hologram appeared. It showed encrypted Council signals, troop movements, and target logs. The Galactic Council had discovered humanity's location, and they were preparing to erase them. Wren stared at the screen for a long time. He clenched his fists. After all these years, he said, his voice low, they still want us gone. His second-in-command, Lieutenant Mora, asked, "What do we do, sir?" Ren turned toward the crew. "We fight," he said, "in the dark, from the shadows, just like we've always done." The command chamber of Echelon Prime, Earth's central base deep within the Veil expanse, was carved inside a hollow asteroid larger than most moons. Thousands of lights blinked along walls, lined with terminals. Human leaders stood in a tight circle around a long black table, their faces lit only by the glow of a 3D galactic map. Commander James Wren stood among them, the data chip from the ruined colony now decoded and floating above the table. Red markers blinked across the outer systems, evidence of the Galactic Council's movements. "They know," Wren said. "The colony was no accident. The Council is probing the expanse. They're looking for us." The room fell silent. High Marshal Elena Dre, a sharp-eyed woman in her 60s, stepped forward. "They still think we're a threat." "Maybe we are." Another council member, Director Han, crossed his arms. "We've stayed hidden for 2 centuries. Why reveal ourselves now? We're not ready for full war." Ren looked at each of them. Hiding didn't stop them from burning Colony 17 to ash. "We either strike first or wait for them to find every settlement we have. But a full assault would expose our empire," Han warned. "Our power comes from the shadows." Marshal Dre raised her hand. "Then let's use that power. We hit them where they don't expect. Fast, quiet, hard." "Commander Ren, how quickly can the Vanguard fleet mobilize?" Ren didn't hesitate. "We're always ready." After a pause, the council voted. 6-2 approved. Ren's mission was clear. Lead a covert operation to gather allies, weaken the council's reach, and prepare for open conflict if necessary. The fate of humanity now rested on silent blades and secret moves. Later, in the hangar bay, Ren stood before his flagship Spectre 1, as it was refueled and prepped for deep space travel. His Lieutenant Mora checked over the mission logs. "We'll need outside help," she said. "If the Council sends its armadas, we can't stand alone." "I know who to ask," Ren replied. "Jaron?" Ren nodded. "The outlaws. The broken, the forgotten. Just like us." Jaron wasn't part of any star map. It was a rogue world far beyond even the Veil expanse, home to exiles, pirates and former Council defectors. Most called it cursed. But Ren had been there once. He remembered one person, Dr. Calitha, a brilliant alien scientist who once served the Council, then vanished after speaking out against their crimes. If anyone could help humanity fight back, it was her. The journey to Jaron took 2 warp jumps, and a dangerous dive through a drifting asteroid field. The planet itself was harsh. Red skies, black deserts, and massive spires of crystal rising from the ground like jagged bones. Makeshift towers and landing platforms surrounded the only city, Outpost Segros. Spectre 1 landed with its cloaking systems active. Ren and Mora disembarked, wearing armored suits with embedded translators and pulse shields. Armed guards watched them from rooftops. They walked through dusty streets, lined with strange aliens, humanoids with silver skin, long-limbed insectoids, and even creatures that glowed faintly in the shadows. Many had cybernetic limbs or worn-out uniforms from forgotten wars. Ren kept his hand near his sidearm. "This place hasn't changed," he muttered. They arrived at a hidden lab beneath the surface. Ren knocked on a rusted steel door, using a coded sequence. It opened slowly. Inside stood Dr. Calitha. She was tall, with soft blue skin and narrow violet eyes. Her 2 fingers on each hand ended in delicate points. A thin metallic crown wrapped around her forehead, some kind of neural device. Her voice was calm and cold. "I thought you humans gave up trying to change the galaxy." "We didn't," Ren said. "We just got better at doing it quietly." Calitha looked at him, then turned and walked inside. "Then speak. What do you want?" They sat in a dim room filled with machines that hummed softly. Holograms of council ships, technology blueprints and data feeds floated around them. Ren handed her the decoded files from the destroyed colony. Calitha studied them. "I warned them this would happen," she said quietly. When I left the council, I told them Earth would adapt, and they laughed. She turned to Ren. What are you offering? An alliance, Ren replied. Human stealth technology, protection, a future. In return, your expertise, your fleet, your reach. We strike back together. Calitha didn't answer immediately. She walked to a side console and typed in a command. Outside, 5 alien warships lifted into the air. Their design was old but still functional. These are all I have, she said. But I also have information. Council weaknesses, secret research bases, weapon systems they've banned to keep their image clean. She paused, then looked Ren in the eyes. If I do this, I become an enemy of my own people. There's no turning back. We made that choice a long time ago, Ren said. After a long silence, Calitha gave a single nod. We're in. Back aboard Spectre 1, Mora smiled slightly. Didn't think she'd agree. She remembers what they did to her, Ren said. That's more powerful than any promise. The fleet set course back toward the Veil Expanse, but the road home would not be smooth. Far above Charon, a small probe drifted silently. Its surface shimmered, cloaked from radar. A blinking red light signal. The council had been watching, and now they knew. The return journey from Charon was supposed to be quiet. Commander James Wren stood at the bridge of Spectre 1, arms crossed, watching the stars drift past. Around him, the crew was focused, but calm. After their success on Charon, morale had risen. 5 alien warships, Calitha's fleet, followed close behind in tight formation. I want full stealth protocols active, Wren ordered. We can't afford to be seen. Aye, sir, Mora replied. Engines are quiet. Cloaks are holding. No signs of pursuit, Wren nodded. Let's not assume we're alone. The council doesn't leave loose ends. But despite their precautions, something felt wrong. 2 hours later, the alarms rang. Warp signature detected, shouted a crewman. Multiple vessels bearing straight for us. The stars on the screen twisted and blurred as 4 Council-class interceptors broke through the warp. Long, sleek, and deadly. They came out firing. Bright beams of energy cut across space like glowing knives. Brace for impact, Mora shouted. Spectre 1 shook violently as shields absorbed the first hit. Sparks flew from a nearby console. Wren held onto a railing, voice steady. Calitha's ships, do they see them? Yes, Mora answered. They're engaging now. The alien ships opened fire, their weapons older but powerful. One interceptor exploded in a burst of white light. But the council ships were fast and relentless. They outnumbered and outgunned the defenders. We didn't come through a main road, Wren said. Someone told them our path. Mora's eyes narrowed. A traitor? It's the only explanation. Wren rushed to the lower decks. The traitor had to be aboard. He reached the intelligence bay, where security officers were already waiting with a prisoner. Lieutenant Pierce, one of Wren's junior officers. He tried to send a signal through the backup comms, a guard said, encrypted in old council code. Pierce, a young man with sharp eyes and a nervous face, looked up without shame. You don't understand, he said. We can't win this war. We shouldn't even try. Wren stepped forward, calm but cold. So you'd sell us out? Pierce nodded. The council promised peace. If we just surrender, stop building ships, maybe they'll let us live. They won't, Wren said. You saw what they did to Colony 17. They attacked because we were hiding. Pierce shouted. If we cooperate, maybe. Wren raised a hand, silencing him. You betrayed us. You risked every life on this ship. He turned to the guards. Lock him up. Deep cell. No communication access. The guards dragged Pierce away. Back on the bridge, the battle was still raging. 2 of Calitha's ships had been damaged. One was retreating with flames trailing from its engines. We need to break out, Mora said. There's too many of them. Agreed, Wren replied. Target the lead ship. 1 push, then we jump. The gunners focused their fire. Plasma rounds slammed into the enemy's hull. After a few seconds, the lead interceptor cracked open and exploded. Now, Wren ordered. In a flash of blue light, Spectre 1 and the rest of the fleet vanished into warp. When they reappeared in safe space, the ship was damaged, but intact. Medics moved quickly through the halls. Engineers worked to restore power to the lower decks. Kalitha appeared on the bridge's comm screen. Her face was calm, but her voice was sharp. "You were followed." "We know," Ren said. "There was a traitor on board. He's in custody now." Kalitha studied him. "The Council is getting smarter. If they sent only 4 ships, they were testing your response, seeing how you move, how you fight. They'll come in force next time," Ren said. "Then we must strike first," Kalitha replied. "Before they can gather their strength," Ren nodded. He felt the weight of command more than ever now. The shadows they once trusted were no longer safe. The Council was watching, and they would not stop. He turned to his crew. "We need to return to Echelon Prime. We regroup. We plan. And then," he looked out at the stars, "we hit them where it hurts." The lights inside Echelon Prime's war chamber were dimmed. Only the blue glow from the central war table lit the room. Dozens of military leaders stood around the display, their eyes locked on a live map of the Galactic Council's communication grid. Commander James Wren stood at the head of the table, flanked by Lieutenant Mora and Dr. Kalitha. "Here," Wren said, pointing to a cluster of blinking lights. "Relay Station 9. It's the Council's eastern hub. Every fleet order, distress signal, and sensor sweep flows through this point." Kalitha nodded. "It's lightly defended. The Council assumes no one dares touch it." "They're wrong," Wren replied. "If we take this out, we blind them. For a moment they won't know what's happening across a quarter of the galaxy." Mora added, "It would give us time. Time to move troops. Time to plan a deeper strike." There were murmurs across the room. The idea was bold. Risky, but necessary. Marshal Dre stepped forward. "You'll take the Vanguard fleet. 5 stealth cruisers, 3 fighter wings, Kalitha's ships. That's all we can spare." Ren nodded. "It's all I need." The Vanguard fleet assembled just outside the expanse, floating silently in the darkness. Their ships shimmered with shadow plating and silent engines. Kalitha's alien vessels joined them, hovering like forgotten relics from another time. Inside Spectre 1, Ren addressed the crew. His voice was calm and clear. "Years ago they called us unworthy, dangerous, primitive. So we built in silence, we waited. But now the Council is coming for us. They burned our colonies. They hunt us like animals. No more." He paused, eyes scanning the room. "Today we strike back. We take their eyes. And when they're blind, we show them what humanity has become." The crew stood straighter, ready. The fleet jumped through 2 warp gates, each one placed in secret years before. Within hours, they were near Relay Station 9, a massive satellite hub orbiting a quiet planet. It was protected by a single defense ship and a ring of automated turrets. Kalitha appeared on the comms. "They haven't seen us. Their scans are too slow." "Good," Ren said. "We hit hard. No warning, no second chance." The operation began. The first strike came from the shadow bombers, small drones launched from the stealth cruisers. They reached the station in silence, then exploded in precise bursts, disabling the outer turrets. Then came the fighter wings. They raced toward the defense ship, dodging fire and punching through shields. 2 fighters were lost, but the rest forced the Council ship to retreat. Ren watched from the bridge. "Finish it." Spectre 1 fired its main cannon. A thick beam of blue energy pierced the relay station's core. Sparks flew. The hub exploded in a burst of fire and static. The Council's eastern grid went dark. Back at Echelon Prime, news of the victory spread fast. Messages poured in from distant human colonies, cheering, celebrating, ready to rise. But with the good news came something darker. A report from Kalitha's network revealed a disturbing discovery. The Council was building a planet killer, a weapon capable of cracking a planet's crust and destroying its core, and their target was clear. Earth. Ren stared at the display in silence. The weapon was already being moved toward the Veil Expanse. It was traveling under heavy guard, escorted by a full fleet. "We don't have time," Mora said. "They're planning to end us before we fully reveal ourselves." Ren turned toward her. His face was calm but his eyes burned. Then we strike before it arrives. We intercept that fleet. We destroy the weapon. Khalitha looked at the sensor data. It's risky. They'll expect resistance. They won't expect us to come this fast, Ren replied. They still don't believe in what we've become. He stood at the center of the room. Prepare the fleet. This is it. We fight not just for Earth, but for the future we've built in the shadows. The crew began moving. Weapons charged. Engines warmed. Everyone knew this wasn't just another mission. This was war. The void sector was a region of deep space, so dark, even the stars seemed afraid to shine. It was where the Galactic Council moved its secret weapon, an enormous ship known as the Hammer of Order. This weapon wasn't just a threat. It was death for an entire planet. It had one purpose: destroy Earth. Commander James Wren and the Vanguard fleet arrived first. Floating behind asteroid cover, their ships were completely cloaked. The weapon was coming, slowly, guarded by over a dozen Council warships, heavily armed cruisers, destroyers, and 2 massive carriers. Inside Spectre 1, Wren studied the enemy formation. He didn't blink. They're moving in a straight line, Mora said. They're confident, too confident. They think we'll run, Wren replied. But we've been preparing for this fight our whole lives. Wren gathered the fleet leaders in a virtual war room. Each ship captain, including Dr. Khalitha, appeared as a hologram around the table. We target their formation first, Wren said. Khalitha, your ships flank the left. Our stealth cruisers hit the center. I'll lead the charge. What about the weapon itself? Khalitha asked. We disable it mid-fight, Wren said. Or destroy it, if we have no other choice. Everyone understood. This wasn't just a battle. It was survival. The attack began in silence. A wave of shadow drones slipped through the Council's outer sensors and detonated near their carriers. The blast was fast and violent, ripping into the hulls. Before the enemy could respond, the Vanguard fleet uncloaked and opened fire. Lasers and plasma fire lit up the void. Khalitha's ship sliced through the left side, using old alien tech that bent light and sound. The Council destroyers turned to meet them. But too late. Spectre 1 blasted forward, dodging enemy fire, and smashed through the center. Keep their attention, Wren ordered. Make them look everywhere at once. One of the Council carriers launched hundreds of fighter drones. They swarmed toward Spectre 1, lighting up the shields. The ship shook. Sparks flew from the ceiling. We've got damage on Deck 4, Mora shouted. Shields down to 60%. Stay with me, Wren said. We're not turning back now. He looked at the screen. The weapon was still moving, slow, steady. A giant metal monster glowing with red light. We're going in, Wren said. Wren led a small team aboard a stealth shuttle. The plan was simple. Infiltrate the Hammer of Order, destroy its power core, and leave before it exploded. But nothing went as planned. The ship's shields were stronger than expected. They had to blast their way in, triggering alarms. Inside, they faced Council soldiers, tall, armored, and ruthless. Blaster fire echoed through the dark halls. Wren took point, firing shot after shot, moving fast. One soldier rushed him with a plasma blade. Wren ducked, turned, and fired. Behind him, Mora covered the rear. This place is a fortress, she said, breathing hard. We need to hurry. We're close, Wren replied. Power core should be just ahead. They reached the control room, but it wasn't empty. High Chancellor Arvaleth was waiting. He stood tall in black armor, 4 arms folded behind his back. His face was calm, but his eyes burned with hatred. I knew it would be you, Wren, he said. The human who thinks he can change fate. You rejected us, Wren said. Now you see what that did. Arvaleth drew 2 long energy blades. You're still just a mistake. The fight was brutal. Wren moved fast, but Arvaleth was stronger. The alien struck with both blades, forcing Wren to block with a metal rod. Sparks flew. Mora tried to help, but Arvaleth knocked her aside. Wren fell to one knee. Blood ran down his arm. But he didn't stop. He stood again, gritting his teeth. He dodged the next strike and grabbed a fallen blaster. One shot, straight to Arvaleth's chest. The High Chancellor collapsed. His blades clattered to the floor. "You were never supposed to rise," he whispered, then went still. Ren limped to the console. He activated the core's shutdown sequence. The weapon began to power down, lights dimming across its structure. Outside, the Council fleet, now in full retreat, watched in silence. Their ultimate weapon had failed. Their leader was gone. The battle was over. Back aboard Spectre 1, medics treated Ren's wounds. Kalitha appeared on the main screen. "You did it," she said. "They'll never forget this." "Good," Ren replied. "It's time they learned who we are." He stood with Mora at the viewport. Together they watched the remains of the Council fleet disappear into the stars. The battle was over. The Council had retreated, and the weapon meant to destroy Earth was silent, drifting in space like a broken monument. Commander James Wren stood inside the command tower of Echelon Prime, arm wrapped in a medical brace. Outside the large window, the Vanguard fleet was returning, scarred but victorious. There was no cheering, no loud celebrations, only silence and the heavy weight of what they had just done. Humanity had stepped into the light. The War Council gathered again, but this time the tone was different. No arguments, no doubt, just focus. Marshal Elena Dre addressed the group. "The Council lost more than ships. They lost fear. The galaxy has seen what we're capable of." Director Han nodded. "We're no longer shadows. We're a force." Kalitha, standing at Ren's side, added calmly, "But if we don't act now, the Council will return. They will regroup. They always do." Ren took a deep breath. His voice was firm. "Then we don't wait. We offer the galaxy something the Council never did: respect, justice, a place for the forgotten." He looked at the map behind them, a display of hundreds of planets, many marked in red. Some of those systems were left behind by the Council. Others were punished for defiance. "We reach out to them, not as rulers, but as allies." And so they did. Within weeks the message of Earth's victory spread far and wide. Ships once hiding in asteroid belts came forward. Colonies once too scared to speak began sending envoys. The Shadow Concord was formed. A new alliance, led by humanity, supported by former exiles, broken fleets, and silent worlds. Together they built something greater. Not just an empire, but a home. Ren visited Earth for the first time in his life. The planet was still beautiful. Green fields, oceans, mountains that reached the clouds. But it was also older, wiser. People had grown up, knowing the stars were against them. Now they looked up with hope. He walked through the Hall of Founders, where statues of early leaders stood in silence. At the center was a new monument. A tall stone tower carved with the names of those lost in the Battle of the Void. At the top was written, "From the shadows, we rose." Ren stood there for a long time. Then he removed his officer badge and placed it at the base of the monument. His duty was done. In the final broadcast sent across the galaxy, Ren stood before a silver podium. Behind him, flags from dozens of worlds waved together. "To those who still live in fear," he said, "we offer you a choice. Join us. Not because we demand it, but because you deserve more than silence." He looked into the camera, calm and strong. "To those who rejected us, you made us stronger. You taught us to survive. But now, we lead." The Council, weakened and leaderless, could no longer ignore the change. They pulled back, silent for the first time in centuries. Some whispered they were preparing for another war. Others said they had finally learned fear. But Earth no longer waited for permission. The stars, once distant and cold, now carried the echo of a voice they had long tried to silence. And that voice belonged to humanity.